Hello and welcome to Restoration Weekly, where today we're covering the latest in aircraft restoration news. Starting with the unexpected news of Fighter Aviation Engineering's TF-51D Mustang Contrary Mary leaving the UK this week for a new home in the States. The two-seat American fighter was constructed and entered US Air Force service in 1944, but was never to see use in the war. The aircraft, serial 4484847, would go on to serve with the 45th Tactical Reconnaissance Squadron at Kimpo, South Korea during the Korean War. In 1999, it was purchased by the Fighter Collection and restored as a two-seat TF-51D Mustang, nicknamed Miss Velma. The restoration culminated in a first flight in May 2007 with Steve Hinton at the controls, and it was flown to IWM Duxford, where it arrived on the 4th of July 2007. In July 2016, the airframe was sold to Anglia Aircraft Restorations, based at Sywell Aerodrome. However, in 2017, she suffered an engine failure resulting in a crash landing. The accident left Miss Velma in a poor but repairable condition, and it was soon restored back to a flying condition, now in the recognisable Contrary Mary scheme in 2018. In 2023, Fighter Aviation Engineering received a new airframe, the Australian-built Commonwealth CA-18 Mustang Mk.XIV, serial number VH-MFT, which arrived at their Sywell base in November. Hopefully this won't be the last we see of such an iconic warbird. Speaking of iconic warbirds and Fighter Aviation Engineering, last week saw the reveal of Spitfire Mk.XIV in her new photo reconnaissance scheme, conveniently in time for IWM Duxford's Spies in the Skies exhibition coming in late December. The exhibition will also feature the already confirmed Westland Lysander V9312, the only two airworthy Mk.XI Spitfires, one operated by Duxford's own aircraft restoration company. Spitfire Mk.I M3200 will also be present to demonstrate the evolution of the Spitfire, as well as Fighter Aviation Engineering's Lockheed Electra Jr., notably of Sydney Cotton fame. The ongoing restoration of Spitfire AA810 and early photo reconnaissance Mark IV will also be present, as well as a replica Mark I Spitfire painted in the recognisable photo reconnaissance pale pink. Now, back to Spitfire Mk.XIV, which is a long association with the UK aviation scene, having gained a certificate of airworthiness as the well-known serial G-Spit in 1979 and being owned by Stephen Gray's Fighter Collection. The aircraft was flown in the colours of Johnny Johnson, the Flying Legends airshow in the year 2000, as a surprise for his attendant, and did until this year. Finally, for this episode, last week saw the controversial relocation of IWM Duxford's, or should I say Newark's, the RAF's Eurofighter Typhoon DA4. The aircraft was put up for disposal by IWM Duxford in 2019, and it was announced that Newark Air Museum would acquire the rare development airframe in 2020. However, as we all know, not everything went to plan in 2020, and Newark's acquisition went quiet until rather recently. The airframe was moved in mid-October from its home in Hangar 3, Air and Sea, to be dismantled. However, it would not be dismantled by Newark engineers. It came to light in October that the RAF would be taking back the aircraft for ground training use, a controversial move that would leave Newark in a tricky position considering the already raised funding. This is following the recent thinning out of the RAF's Jaguar instructional training units, many of them having found new homes in museums. The Typhoon is set to move to RAF Cosford in due course, although not in any way as interesting or important as the Typhoon DA4. Surely the Ministry of Defence could spare one of their disposed Jaguars as compensation for Newark, or an airframe from their rapidly thinning museum collection. Okay, sorry, on that controversial note, it's time to end this episode. So I hope you enjoyed it and leave any feedback in the comments. Now, have a nice weekend and goodbye.